Welcome, football fans, to the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft. I am your beloved commissioner, Emerson Lotzia. Thank you all for being here and for all of you tuning in across the world. We are here to welcome our future NFL stars and busts. With 4 people in this studio, we've already set a record for largest live audience in our mock draft's history. Let's go! Let's go! All right, yeah, let's hear it! Let's hear it! We have 8 analysts here to rip through all 32 first-round picks. Each have been assigned a division. In the AFC, Nick Fryer has the South, Jeff Ulrich takes the North, Julian Edlow the East, and Sweet T. Fowler the West. In the NFC, Steve Buchanan will be drafting for the East, Tim Murray holds down the South, Jeff Pratt the North, and Chinmay Vaidya representing the West. There will be no trades because we are not cowards. So without further ado, the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft is now officially open. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock. They have been here since week 1 of last season, which is why Nick Fryer is ready to make the first pick in the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft. Godspeed, my sweet chinchilla.
What is wrong
nice
with this
hat.
guy? What is wrong with this guy?
Oh, God.
Oh, my. You had one job, Jacksonville.
My apologies. I just wanted to make sure that I represented Jacksonville properly today.
Very accurate.
It would be best to start with my mic off. And of course, you can appreciate the attire. Emerson, you know, pop collar, got to do it for Duval. But for the first pick in this year's NFL draft, I had to think about this a little bit, been back and forth. Ultimately landed on a defensive end, which isn't a shock to anybody, shouldn't be a shock to anybody. Went with Trayvon Walker this year out of Georgia. Of course, had a 6.89 three-cone drill this year, quicker than Mike Evans in three-cone drill, quicker than Devontae Adams in the 40 at a 4.51, 6'5", 275 pounds. And this kid played basketball in high school, which we know every single draft expert is gonna highlight that because apparently that means something. But when you listen to the interviews that this kid has had, he has been humble. He's a combination of size, strength, explosiveness, flexibility. He has it all, total package. Great addition to our defense.
All right, kind of a reach there, but after 1 comes 2, and it's another sad cat. Making the second overall selection for the Lions is Jeff Pratt.
Thank you, Emerson. I'll get right into it, unlike Nick. I'm going to take, with the second overall pick, the Detroit Lions are selecting Aiden Hutchinson, a defensive end out of Michigan. This is the most obvious pick in the draft. It's the most obvious pairing in the draft. He's a Plymouth, Michigan native. He went to Michigan. It's only right he continues his career in Detroit with the Lions. Hutchinson was a monster the moment he stepped on the field with the Wolverines, but took it to another level entirely in his senior campaign. He was named first team AP All-American, Big Ten Conference MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Lineman of the Year, while also being the runner-up for the Heisman. That's a lot of awards. Hutchinson led Michigan to the college football playoff, ranking 3rd in the FBS with 14 sacks among his 62 total tackles, including 16 and a half for a loss. It sounds like he's everything you're looking for in a leader on and off the field, and he provides flexibility and overpowering strength with skilled hands. He profiles as scheme versatile, should be very effective in 4-3 or 3-4 fronts. The one negative about Hutchinson is that his ceiling just isn't as high as some of these other top prospects, but there should still be multiple all-pro seasons in his future. He'll immediately help a Lions defense that just lacks high-end talent.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. Number 3 overall, we return to America's division, the division of the working man. The AFC South. Nick Fryer has returned, a wardrobe change like a true professional, picking 3 overall. Have at it for the Texans.
So we have Davis Mills now, and of course he is the future here in Houston. So we got to make sure that we have the right amount of personnel around him on the offensive side of the ball. First, we got to make sure we protect him. So I'm going to go with Evan Neal out of Alabama at offensive tackle. But this guy's not just limited to playing with tackle. Of course, he started off his college football career at Bama playing right guard, moved over to right tackle, and then he finished off that left tackle when he was an All-American last year. I know he didn't go to the combine, but what we've seen from him over the years, I trust enough in his versatility that he's going to get the job done for us on a day in, day out basis and over a stretch of, over a lengthy career, because he comes from a family of NFL talent. They know how to get there. They know how to stay there. They know how to succeed. They know how to win. So I have all the confidence in the world that Evan Neal is going to help protect Davis Mills over the next few years. All
right, good stuff, Nick. Now we take our first trip to the AFC East. Julian Edlow is here in studio picking 4 overall for Das New York Jets.
Unlike Emerson and Nick, I didn't take this as a costume party. I'm just going to get to the pick. With the number 4 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu from NC State. Interesting. This is the top-ranked tackle, I think, in a lot of people's draft classes. So interesting that Nick took Neal, a very safe pick, but maybe not the athletic freak that Ekwonu is here with the first OT off the board. A couple of there's maybe a need at corner here for the Jets, but fortunately we have 2 top 10 picks to work with here. This is all about last year's pick, which is Zach Wilson. And when you have Zach Wilson on your roster, we want to use these 2 top 10 picks to really build around him and make the Jets as strong as possible on offense. So forget adding that corner here. I think Ike Ekwonu is that big guy that can both help you in the run, which will help Wilson, and help pass block. And that's exactly what the New York Jets are looking for here. I think they're top-ranked tackle on the board, and we'll select him at number 4.
Okay, that is really, really exciting stuff, Julian. What we're going to do is we're going to stay in New Jersey with the New York Giants. Picking 5 overall, we're going to stay in studio. Let's go, bro.
Yep. You're going to have to give us a second because we were going to take Ike. Yep. The Jets took him again. Yep. They stole from us. So now we're going to change course, okay? We should have got Ike on the Giants. That's what we wanted at number 5. Now we got to change course. So you know what? We're just going to take the sauce man, all right? We're going to take Ahmad Gardner coming out of Cincinnati. We're very upset we don't have Ike. This coward over here from the Jets, they ruined our draft already. We're only in draft number 5. But we'll take the man who never allowed a touchdown in coverage during his time in Cincinnati. Rumors are swirling that we might be moving on from James Bradbury, give us a little more capital here, but we're obviously going to be taking the best player on the board at this very time. So we're going to take the sauce man at 5th overall because Ike was taken from right under our noses from the New York Jets, who always just need attention but can never win anyways. That's our guy.
All right. Very angry, the Giants are. Let's go to a true professional. Let's go to Tim Murray. VSiN's Tim Murray. You're going to be picking 6 overall here for the Panthers. What do you want to do, Big Tim?
Yes, we, the Carolina Panthers, and the hottest of hot seats, Matt Rule, we would like to trade. Anyone? Anyone out? Can we? Oh, we can't? Okay.
No.
We will pick a good quarterback. Oh, can't do that. All right, we'll go with the tackle. We'll take Charles Cross, the left tackle out of Mississippi State, thought to be the best pass protector, according to some in this draft class. Run blocking, not so great, but we're forced to pick here at 6. We don't have a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Our owner, David Tepper, is worth $1 gajillion and went to Pittsburgh, so he's been down our neck saying we need to pick Kenny Pickett. We say he's got small hands, so we're going to go with Charles Cross to shore up that left side of the line. So when Sam Darnold gets sacked 1,000 times this year, we say, well, we picked an offensive lineman. So we, the Panthers, we go very excitedly to take Charles Cross from Mississippi State.
Okay, he's got some meaty hands, got some big old sausage fingers. We're now going to return to the Giants here. Steve Buchanan, you are back on the clock, picking 7 overall. What does New York want to do?
Yeah, we've come down from our anger. We're a little bit happy now because now we're taking Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. Obviously, the best, or should I say elite, talent in this class at edge rusher. Unique blend of speed and power. That was evidenced by his 4.5840 at the combine. He is going to create a ton of pressure on his own during his time in college. 115 career pressures. That is something that the Giants, we the Giants, we're going to be a different team in a few picks here, but we the Giants desperately need on this team. That's our guy.
We will return now to the NFC South. Tim Murray, you're back on the clock. You're picking for the Falcons here. Who do you want?
Well, this year, guys, Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley are really going to. What did he do? He's out for what? Parlays? Ah, God. All right, we need a wide receiver. We will go with USC wide receiver Drake London with the 8th overall pick. A surprise to some. Big-bodied guy, 6'3", 217, high points every possible ball. Might throw out some first overall wide receiver selections, but in Peter King's mock the other day, he said that this is the receiver I hear they love. Drake London fits that big-bodied type of receiver that Arthur Smith would like to have there. So you pair up Kyle Pitts with Drake London, 88 catches, 1,084 yards, and 7 touchdowns in just 8 games. So many people believe Garrett Wilson might be the first wide receiver off the board, or Jameson Williams. With the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons will take Drake London, wide receiver from USC.
First skill position player off the board, folks. Let's go to number 9. It's the Seahawks. Chinmay Vaidya. Who are you going to be selecting? I'm told you need a quarterback.
Morning to everyone. Happy draft day. It's actually a sunny day here in Seattle for a change, and the Seahawks will not go with the quarterback position. They will go with the linebacker spot and take Devin Lloyd out of Utah. The Seahawks have a Bobby Wagner rule, and that is if you like the player, it doesn't matter where he is. You take him and figure out the rest later. Lloyd is an explosive playmaker on the defensive side of the ball, slots in for where Wagner was, but it can also play at multiple linebacker spots. And he's more of a hybrid player, can move him around the field, and the Seahawks can really take a big jump on the defensive side of the ball next season, especially with the quarterbacks in this draft being a little underwhelming. So the Seahawks take Devin Lloyd and anchor that defense in the linebacker spot with the Utah product.
Okay, we've been heavy on defense here. Now for the second time in the top 10, we have a team from New York picking for a second time. The New York Jets. Julian Edlow, you are back on the clock.
Before I get into character and make my New York Jets selection, I sure hope Chinmay is right. Plus 2,000 on Devin Lloyd to be a top 10 pick a couple of weeks ago. Let's cash that ticket because I have to watch out for myself before I watch out for the New York Jets. All right. Getting back into character. Bartender, shot of JMO, please.
Ooh.
With the number 10 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, New York Jets select Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. The dude probably could have been the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I know the Falcons jumped ahead of us with Drake London, but had he not torn his ACL in the national championship game, there's a lot of talk that he could have been a top 5 pick in this draft. The top receiver off the board on a lot of teams' boards. So, all accounts, this ACL is healing up just fine. And we talked on our first pick, number 4 overall, when we went with protecting Zach Wilson. Now we have to get Zach Wilson a weapon, and this is a weapon. 19.9, essentially 20 yards per reception for Jameson Williams last season. Caught 79 balls for 1,572 yards, reached the end zone 15 times. I think a lot of casual college football fans are familiar with him just from watching Alabama and some of those big games. This dude has elite speed. He takes the top off the defense. This is the exact kind of weapon that the Jets want to get for Zach Wilson, especially after addressing some elite offensive line help.
Okay, the Commanders now, for the first time in its team history with the name Commanders, will be making a selection in the NFL Draft. Steve Buchanan, you will be making said selection. Where you going, big boy?
Yeah, I didn't select the name of this team, but I am going to make this selection at number 11, taking safety Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. You know, some may consider him to be a top 5 talent overall, but playing at safety obviously is going to have him fall down the board a little bit here. The Commanders have been a defensive first team for years now. That is not going to change in this draft here as well. So taking Hamilton at 11 makes a lot of sense for this team. They're going to build on a player who, once he takes the field, should make an immediate impact on this team. The Commanders are going to be a defensive strong point all season long. That is going to be a big reason why Hamilton is going to contribute to that as well. So we take him at number 11.
All right, here we go. Vikings now on the board at number 12, Jeff Pratt. The floor is yours.
We, the Minnesota Vikings, will be taking a corner, and let's hope it works out better than the last 2 first-round corners we drafted. With the number 12 overall pick, the Vikings select Derek Stingley out of LSU. It sounds like teams have come to the conclusion that injuries were the main factor in Stingley's drop-off in play over the past 2 seasons. He was an absolute monster as a true freshman for LSU in their national championship campaign consensus first-team All-American, second-team All-SEC selection, tying for 5th in the FBS with 6 interceptions. He also racked up 38 tackles and broke up 15 passes in 15 starts that season. Stingley had a strong sophomore campaign and was first-team All-SEC, but he just couldn't stay on the field in his junior season with a foot injury. He missed all but 3 starts in 2021. So that's clearly the main concern if you're the team drafting him. That being said, the Vikings have a massive hole at corner. Between Patrick Peterson, Cameron Dantzler, Chris Boyd, and Harrison Hand, there's just not enough talent there. Stingley will immediately step in as the top guy and help this defense.
Lucky number 13, Houston Texans, back on the clock. Nick Fryer, back on your television, now rocking the sunglasses. Which player will you be drafting today for Houston?
Yeah, well, I had to break out the shades because this young man that we're going to draft with the 13th overall pick is going to light it up with Davis Mills. I talked about getting more talent around him. We're protecting him already. Now we're going to get him an asset that he can look to. We know he has Brandon Cooks, but we got to be honest, that's not going to be enough. So we're going to take Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of the Ohio State. I just feel gross saying that. He has quick burst ability, 4.38 40, can create separation. He knows how to, he knows how to work in both the slot and outside. He's a good route runner. Won with 61.5% of his contested targets last year. There's nothing this kid is bad at, and he also has room to grow. And I know I heard those clowns over in Jacksonville talking about their first pick and how he played basketball in high school, which is apparently a big deal. This guy got Division I college basketball offers, so that automatically means he's way more athletic. Of course, an All-Big Ten freshman selection and All-American last year as well. Garrett Wilson is our guy at number 13.
I'm feeling that, making his debut here in the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft Show. Jeff Ulrich picking 14 overall for the Ravens. Quoth das Ravens, Jeff.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to all the teams that have picked so far. I mean, you've got, congratulations to the Texans and Nick trying to build around Davis Mills. We're sure at Baltimore that that'll work out for you. Julian picking wide receivers coming off big ACL injuries. I'm sure that'll work out well. We here at the Ravens organization, Emerson, we realized we got pushed around a little bit last year in the AFC North. This is a tough division to win. This isn't a soft division, like the AFC South where you're going to Miami a couple times a year. We've got to build in the trenches. We've got to rebuild our O-line. We're going to go Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. This dude is massive, Emerson. 325 pounds, 6'7". He can play both sides. We're going to pair him with Ronnie Staley, who's going to come back, be healthy next year. We're going to put Penning on his right side to dominate there. This is going to be great for us. We've got some areas. We need to rebuild here. We got pushed around. We do need help at cornerback, but O-line is a major area that needs to be addressed. We have major injuries issues there. So Trevor Penning, big, athletic. Dude ran a 4.89 40. He's like 350 pounds, Emerson. And he broke 5 for the 40-yard dash. So, I mean, that pretty much tells you all you need to know about Trevor Penning. He's going to be our first-round pick at 14.
Okay, speaking of someone who can run a 4.89 40, Steve Buchanan, you're back on the clock. You are picking 16. No, you're picking 15 here overall for the Eagles.
I don't know what Julian's laughing about. I actually can beat that time, and we'll do it right after the show. I don't care. Get the camera ready.
We will film that in the hallway.
Jordan Davis.
I'll have the puke bucket for you.
Will you let
Last
me
time
make my
someone
pick?
did that in the office, by the way,
Right.
he tore his ACL, so we're not doing that.
And Jeff, it's 2022. A torn ACL is like a stubbed toe. He's going to be fine.
It's true. Go ahead. You can make your selection
I
now.
think
As
I
the
have, like,
commissioner, I will ban him.
I think I have like 15 seconds left. Jordan Davis, defensive tackle coming out of Georgia. This is an impact player that is going to disrupt all over the defensive front. Fletcher Cox is on a 1-year deal. The writing is on the wall. They need a replacement. This is going to be your replacement. Jordan Davis coming out of Georgia. I probably went over my time, but everybody disrupted me just like he is going to disrupt on that defensive front. How's that for a transition?
Okay, it's absolutely perfect. Tim, you're back. We've reached the midway point of the draft. 16 overall now. You have the New Orleans Saints. What direction do you want to go in?
Well, the New Orleans Saints clearly don't need a quarterback because they re-signed famous Jameis Winston. So, I mean, what could possibly go wrong there in New Orleans with a guy who set the record for most interceptions in a season? So we're not going to go quarterback here at 16, but we're going to give Jameis a playmaker. We know we've got Michael Thomas, an elite pass catcher. But Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State, still available. All indications are he's a plug-and-play, instant impact, number 2 wide receiver, and that is what the New Orleans Saints will do in the new era after Sean Payton has decided to retire and coach the Cowboys. I mean, not yet. 6 foot, 187 pounds, runs a 4.39, 13 touchdowns last year. Instant, great route runner, as I was going to say, instant impact as well. So with the 16th pick, the New Orleans Saints will get the one and only Jameis Winston, another weapon to throw to in addition to Michael Thomas. They go wide receiver out of Ohio State, Chris Olave at number 16.
Okay, Sweet Tea Fowler, welcome to the program, baby. We have officially entered the second half of this draft, 17 overall, Chargers, and you're reportedly looking at someone right here in our backyard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these 3 teams before us here at the Chargers were taking our guys. And look, Trevor Penning, he's fantastic, Ulrich in Baltimore, but you were 32nd in pass coverage. So you might have wanted to take a cornerback there, but I get it. Trent McDuffie is a little bit too much of a stretch here, and we're not going to go there either. We already got J.C. Jackson. We stole him from the Patriots. We're going to steal someone the Patriots also probably want in Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College. Like, this is the best guard currently in the draft. There's needs for the Chargers, like tackle, right? Like wide receiver, like interior D-line in some cases. But at the same time, when you have a franchise quarterback like Justin Herbert, you want to protect this guy. He was only sacked 31 times last year, which wasn't a lot, but still, this is the future. Get this guy, Zion Johnson. He's an absolute behemoth in the interior line. Protect your franchise. Zion Johnson, guard out of Boston College.
The Eagles are back on the clock at 18 overall, which means Steve Buchanan here can once again rant about a player he either likes or loves.
Well, that's correct. That's why we're making this pick. Why a defensive tackle out of Georgia continue to strengthen this defensive line for the Eagles, which was something that was a huge need for them last year. You look at his stats that he put up in his final year: 39 tackles, 27 quarterback pressures, 7 tackles for a loss, and 2.5 sacks registered. This is going to be a massive strength for the Eagles this year. So taking Wyatt in this spot feels like a good value at this point. So we're taking him number 18 overall.
Oh, and just like that, Tim Murray, you're back on the clock. It's the Saints. It's the Saints who you've already said has a quarterback, but I don't know. What do you want to do here?
Yeah, we got a quarterback, so we're good. Oh, we have 2 first-round picks this year. Oh, yeah, we're going to take a quarterback. All right, let's have that first quarterback off the board. Malik Willis still available, but we know Pittsburgh likes him. They've been going to all his pro days and stuff, so we'll leave him for Pittsburgh. We're going to go Pittsburgh quarterback Kenny Small Hands Pickett here in with the 19th overall pick. But guess what, guys? We play in a dome, so we're good to go with Small Hands Pickett, old double-jointed thumb, whatever it is. But yes, Kenny Pickett will be the selection for the New Orleans Saints. Something funny about it, the fact that they traded in to get another first-round pick. Ultimately, I do think they trade up and try to get a tackle, but we're not doing that here. We will roll with the first quarterback off the board at 19. We will go with Kenny Pickett, 42 touchdowns in all this past year, leading the Pitt Panthers to an ACC championship, and he will sit under Jameis Winston and learn under that fine play there of Jameis. But Kenny Pickett, the selection at 19 to the New Orleans Saints.
Okay, after 19 comes 20. Jeff Ulrich, you're on the clock, and you like someone with real man hands, don't you?
Look, the New Orleans-Pittsburgh relationship has never been stronger. We appreciate you taking baby hands, Kenny Pickett, and leaves us with the most explosive player in the draft. We're going to build around Mitch Trubisky, Emerson, and we're going to take, again, this guy just keeps falling. He's the most explosive player in the draft. He broke the most tackles of anyone in college football. We're going to take Malik Willis at quarterback. Why not? Why not at this point? Again, this is basically the love child of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson in the backfield. Look, we've got Mitch Trubisky. We've already got a first overall quarterback. But you know what? Just in the small chance that maybe Mitch doesn't work out, we'll put Malik back there and we'll just build our offense around him. And you know what? If Mitch does work out, we'll still use Malik Willis in another skill position because that's how good an athlete this guy is. Again, there's really nothing bad about this pick at this point. We haven't traded any draft capital to get up to him. He's dropped to us. This dude is just too good a runner to pass up at this point. Again, you guys can take all the chances you want on all of these wide receivers. Us here at the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, we're going to take the most explosive offensive player in the draft. We're going to take Malik Willis.
Oh, Julian Edlow, who's too good to pass up at 21 for the Patriots? We always hear about Coach Belichick playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. You got to talk to me here, Goose. Talk to me.
The podium's over there.
I'm the
Emerson.
commish. What are you doing?
All right. So, obviously, a lot of needs here for the Patriots at 21. But with the 21st pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher out of Florida State. I would say with Mac Jones on the roster, we're looking for some offensive line help here, but these guys just had a bunch of offensive linemen fly off the board a little earlier than we expected. So the Patriots probably, not going to go quarterback with Mac Jones, and 2 quarterbacks just went before us, obviously. Tight end, too early for a running back. Every other position on the roster is a need. So I think it's time to go best player available. And this is a guy that is somebody who might have drafted for the Jets at 4 and 10. Considered a top 10 pick. It is a gift that these bozos drafting ahead of me let Jermaine Johnson slip to number 21. Patriots have needs all over their defense: size, speed, athleticism, and he's polished. He's a senior, had 12 sacks last year at FSU. We'll take him because we need help everywhere on the field. So Jermaine Johnson, 21 to the Patriots. Give us a top 10 pick, great value.
Okay, let's get to the Cheeseheads, because the Packers received the 22nd overall pick after trading out Devontae Adams to Las Vegas. Pratt, you are back on the clock here. You are picking. Are you going to piss off Aaron Rodgers and not draft help for him?
No, I'm not going to piss off Aaron Rodgers. After trading Devontae Adams in the offseason and letting MVS walk, will this be the year the Packers finally take a receiver in the first round? Right now, I'm the GM for Green Bay, and I say yes because, as you said, Emerson, I have enough common sense to make Aaron Rodgers happy. That's why with the 22nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers are selecting Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. We've all heard the Deebo Samuel comparisons for Treylon Burks. He's a big, natural receiver with versatility to make plays wherever you line him up. He took the Arkansas offense to another level the instant he walked through the door, leading the team in receiving yards as a true freshman. He was second team All-SEC as a sophomore, and that was elevated to first team his junior year. He also set a school record with 6 100-yard receiving games. Obviously, Burks was a bit of a letdown at the combine, only running a 4.55 40 with a 33-inch vertical. That being said, the tape jumps out, and I still think he's capable of emerging as an elite NFL wide receiver.
Chinmay, you're up at 23. You're picking for the Cardinals. Your quarterback's not too happy right now. What do you want to do here?
Well, our quarterback actually tweeted a few days ago that he was wanting to win Super Bowls in Arizona.
That's a lie.
Arizona is home. He wants to win with the Cardinals. He also did send a cryptic email this morning to the front office, which had actually game film of that playoff loss where he was being chased around. So while the Cardinals originally were going to go in a different direction here, the Arizona Cardinals now will select Kenyon Green, the guard from Texas A&M. Obviously, a very productive player at Texas A&M, all SEC in the last 2 seasons, all SEC first team last year. And the Cardinals need protection up front. And he's, we believe, one of the best offensive linemen in this draft. And we're very happy to select him at this spot to please our quarterback, Kyler Murray, who reportedly wants to stay here and win Super Bowls for Arizona. So We'll take Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M with the number 23 overall pick.
Keyword reportedly. Let's go back to the Cowboys GM and owner, Steve Buchanan. You are up next, 24 here in the first round.
Yep, I am also very rich, so I just want to throw that out there. So that's a good thing for me.
I can tell because you have a mustache.
Pick, Tyler Lindenbaum from Iowa. Obviously, what we love to do is build on that offensive line. We love upgrading that offensive line. According to Pro Football Focus, this is the highest graded interior offensive lineman in this draft, whereas what we have right now at center was one of the lowest graded last season, who provide this offensive line the boost that they desperately needed last year. So 24, our guy Kyler coming out of Iowa.
All right, Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia selecting 25 here. Julian Edlow, you're making the pick.
With the 25th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills are going to select Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan. The Bills are a very good team. We're a very good team. We arguably should have beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs and had a shot at the Super Bowl. Not many needs on this team. Running back maybe is one of them, but we have Josh Allen to run the ball for us, and we don't even run that much. We throw, and we're not going to waste a first-round pick on a running back. So it becomes best player available and looking at basically anywhere on the field. And when you look at Daxton Hill, he's a very well-polished safety. He's got the versatility to even play corner. He can help us a lot of places on defense in an AFC that is loaded with quarterbacks and wide receivers. So we're going to need guys in our secondary to make plays to get us to break through and go to the Super Bowl. And you look at the rest of the team, maybe where could a need come? Jordan Poyer did just turn 31 years old, is in the last year of his deal. So Hill represents a guy that can maybe, after this season, replace him there long term. We get a good player, we continue winning.
All right, now to 26 overall. Tennessee Titans back in the AFC South. Nick Fryer, home of one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
This is true, and that's why we're going to surround him with some more talent after getting rid of Julio Jones in the offseason. Now, I know this young man in George Pickens out of Georgia ran into some issues, in terms of his aggressiveness. And then, of course, he had the injury as well. But we're going to channel all that energy, get him back on the right track. Of course, he had a 4.47 40-yard dash just a year after tearing his ACL. But now we're going to have him around some veteran wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Robert Woods. And, of course, you have Tannehill and Henry to help channel all that energy that he has. And this kid is a physical specimen. He has the tools to be elite at this level. And when you look at one of the stats that kind of jumped out to us mostly was he only dropped 2 passes throughout his entire college career. I know it got cut short because of his ACL, but still, this kid has sure hands. He has the physical tools, the physical talent at 6'3", 200 pounds. We love pairing him up with A.J. Brown and Robert Woods.
All right, let's go to the NFC South. We're going to the Buccaneers. Tom Brady is back in the house this year. Tim Murray back on your screen. What do you want to do at 27 overall, Big Tim?
Yeah, it must suck to have to need a quarterback because we don't. We got a 45-year-old who's going to throw dimes like he's been doing his entire career. Remember that time he retired? Yeah, that was nice. He's back. No more Bruce Arians, so it's Todd Bowles' ship. We need a guard, and the rest of the league did not comply with that as they drafted Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green already. We would like a nose tackle, but Devontae Wyatt is also gone. So we'll go with a cornerback. Kaiir at Elam. We will take him, the corner out of Florida. 6'1", a little taller than Trent McDuffie, so we'll roll with a little more size. A bit of a benefit pick here. We've got a lot to work with, so we will take Kaiir Elam, best available. We will give Todd Bowles, a new head coach, a defensive-minded guy, a very talented defensive back to deal with here. We will take Kaiir Elam, corner out of Florida, with the 27th pick.
All right, with the 28th overall pick here in the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft, Jeff Pratt, GM of the Packers. Who do you want?
The Packers need offensive line help. They released starting right tackle Billy Turner, lost interior lineman Lucas Patrick, and haven't re-signed backup Dennis Kelly yet. That's why, with the 28th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Bernard Rayman, tackle out of Central Michigan. Rayman's a really interesting story. He's an Austrian native who played American football. Excuse me. Sorry, he played American football over there before coming over to Michigan, where he actually played wide receiver in high school and tight end for Central Michigan in his first year before moving to the offensive line. The transition proved to be natural, and he eventually earned first-team All-MAC honors in his senior season. Due to his experience at receiver and tight end, he's obviously extremely athletic, but there are growing pains as he continues to learn the tackle position. Rayman's really smart. He has a great work ethic, so there's little concern that he'll be able to figure it out and become a starting caliber tackle for years to come for Green Bay.
Let's bring it back to the Kansas City Chiefs now. 29 overall. Reti Fowler back on the clock, homie.
Yeah, we got some time for this pick, Emerson. So first off, why are you wearing a whistle as a commissioner?
What do you mean? Well, if any of you guys commit a foul, I will blow the whistle.
Okay. Okay, got it. 10-4. And then the shorts, beautiful touch there. I love it.
Thank you. Billy, would you like to pan down?
There you go.
Thank you.
Little side gate.
Duval.
I like it. So here in Kansas City, we have a little bit of an issue here, right? We have a little bit of a Tyreek Hill issue, but we're going to wait. We're going to add some suspense. We're going to use that with our pick after we use this one. We honestly thought that, the quarterback out of Washington in Trent McDuffie would have been gone. So we didn't do our due diligence on Trent. So we're not going to actually pick him. We're going to pick his cornerback mate opposite side in Kyler Gordon. And here's the reason why. Cornerback out of Washington. Daxton Hill would have been our pick here because we need to fill a big hole with Honey Badger not being back in our defense as well. But he's off the board. I think Kyler Gordon is someone that has a versatility in this defense for Spagnuolo, who can play both that slot corner and the outside position. Trent McDuffie is fine, but he's a little bit smaller for his position. And you take a look at some of these other guys, like Booth out of Clemson, he got burned a ton. So going to Kyler Gordon, cornerback out of Washington for our first pick in a back-to-back here late in the first round.
Well, that's a great segue, Reed, because it is back-to-back. Yeah, go ahead. You're up at 30 here, too. And you could probably use some wide receiver help, right?
We could, yes. A lot of wide receivers. And like Tim here, and like we want to trade up. But, again, this is not the format. We're probably going to trade up because we got a dozen picks and we don't need a dozen rookies on our squad. So we want to get one of these guys out of the top three. But if we stay, Jahan Dotson out of Penn State is the guy that I'm looking at, is the guy that we're looking at in this organization, the best slot wide receiver in this year's NFL draft. 5'11", $180. This guy doesn't jump off the screen with speed, but what he can do is catch the ball. That's what you need, right, to play wide receiver. And he's one of the best route runners in this draft. And again, in this offense with Patrick Mahomes, where a lot of it is timing, we already got our possession guy in Travis Kelce. We're not worried about losing DeMarcus Robinson, some of these other players like Tyreek Hill. We're going to build around Travis Kelce. We're going to build around Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to take Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, 5'11", $180, very versatile.
All right, at 31 overall, we have the Bengals. Jeff Ulrich, you want to continue to build around Smoke and Joe?
Look, here at the CincinnatiBengals.com organization, Emerson, things just keep getting better for us. I mean, we've already got the best young quarterback in the league. We're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. And now we've just got this great edge rusher, and George Karlaftis just falls to us. No, we're just going to pick for value here. Look, the O-line is an issue, but we've addressed it. Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, we've already signed them. It's already done. We're just going to take the best value on the board. This is the third-ranked edge rusher in the draft, and he's available at 31. Yeah, I think we'll take him. Look, we were already pretty good in sacks per game last year, but Karlaftis, 41 total tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss. 8 quarterbacks hit 5 sacks last year. This guy is just an Iron Man. He played over 45 snaps in all but one game last year. Still started playing football 3 years ago, Emerson. He's a great athlete. And look, but I've done my research here. This guy used to be a water polo player, so if it starts raining, we've got a huge advantage as well in that department. But in all seriousness, we're going to keep building. We've already got a great defensive line. Hubbard, Ritter, Hendrickson. We're just going to throw Karlaftis in there. He's just going to be able to run rampant. I'll see you in the Super Bowl next year. Bye.
Commissioner, I'd like to ask why the GM from Detroit sounds very Canadian and also a little bit Scottish.
Yeah,
Hang up and listen.
that's definitely bizarre. It was not on his resume for sure. Let's go with the 32 overall pick, the final pick here in the Sweats 2022 NFL Mock Draft. Another Jeff Pratt, bring us home. Who do the Lions want at 32?
Does taking a quarterback in the first round with so many holes on their roster make sense for the Lions, especially when they have a decent bridge QB in Jared Goff? Absolutely. With the 32nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Desmond Ritter, quarterback out of Cincinnati. Ritter started to emerge as an NFL prospect in 2020 when he was named AAC Offensive Player of the Year and a first-team all-conference passer. But he really made a name for himself in 2021, becoming the conference's Offensive Player of the Year again and leading Cincinnati to the college football playoff. He set school career records with 87 passing touchdowns and well over 12,000 yards of total offense as a dual-threat quarterback. Ritter's not a tremendous physical prospect at just 6'3", and he doesn't really wow you with his arm talent. But that being said, he's smart, he processes quickly, and he plays with a ton of confidence. The tools are there for him to turn into a solid NFL starter after sitting for a year or two behind Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's trying to become the second first-round quarterback in Cincinnati history. To all of our analysts, thank you so much for your time and your effort today. All of the GMs and owners who have taken part in this mock draft. Jules, Steve, Jeff Ulrich, Reed T. Fowler, need you to stick around. We've got some follow-up. So here it is, everybody. These are the 32 picks that were just made in the DraftKings 2022 NFL mock draft. Reed T. Fowler, I believe the other day, I just want to go off of Jeff Pratt's pick here for Ritter. Did you say the other day you believe he's the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft?
Yeah, I mean, he has, a ton of starts in Cincinnati. And when you take a look at what you want, I mean, outside Kenny Pickett, right, who has the talent and the experience, I think Desmond Ritter is someone that you can feel confident in, especially if you're Detroit, right? Jared Goff is not the answer. He's not the future by any stretch. And so getting someone and not stretching and trying to trade up for, one of these quarterbacks that aren't, going to jump off the page, absolutely, right? You want someone who can be pro-ready, and that's Desmond Ritter.
Steven, biggest steal in this draft?
Throw that board back up. Let me
Punch-
see it again.
Let's punch it up.
Throw the board
Let's
back
punch
up.
it up. I thought you'd have all 32 memorized. You
Want
can,
me to
you
go?
can give me biggest steal. You can give me biggest reach. I mean, give me one player here that shocked you, either good or bad. Maybe someone took a little too
I can
early.
give you two. I'm prepared, unlike Steve.
Oh, wow. Have at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Fine.
Okay,
Go ahead,
well,
pal.
first of all, my pick of Jermaine Johnson at number 21 for the Patriots was a huge steal because
Okay.
he's probably going to go in the
bias.
top 10. His draft prop is set at 9. Let's talk about gambling. We're sports bettors. His draft prop is set at 9.5, shaded with heavy juice to the under. He's going to be gone in the top 9. He's not going to be there for the Patriots at number 21. So thank you guys for that. And I will say Jeff made a good pick at whatever it was, 31, getting an edge rusher that's probably going to go in the top 20 or so.
Bukes.
Well, I mean,
Thank you, Julian.
You're welcome,
will,
Jeff.
I will say that, the Giants got robbed. We should have had Icky at number 5.
Another smart guy, me being smart, taking a guy before you.
No, not at all. Not at all. That would not be the Jets' biggest need. Nope. You were just going because you wanted, because we
Mekhi
got
Becton might never play another down for them. He's not even reporting.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, well, that's a stretch.
He should have been at 5. We should have had him at 5. You took him too early. He picked too early. You should have
His
him at 5.
his draft prop is
Steve, I
4
think
with
your
minus
pick-
170 to the under. I took him too early.
Go ahead, Reed.
Steve, I think you're picking Jordan Davis. He's someone that, you get him at 15. He's also someone that a lot of these GMs have in the top 10 and one of the most talented players, or especially out of Georgia, but most talented defensive players that you're talking about someone who has an Albert Hainsworth type of upside, a Vince Wilfork type of upside, and who's, more talented and quicker than those guys combined. So you look at Jordan Davis. And the other guy too, Kayvon Thibodeau, right? So I think Steve, you also picked Kayvon Thibodeau. I forget if you did or not,
That's
but
correct.
like he's also someone too that at 7, you're talking about. Yes, he has some issues, quote unquote, off the field, and every GM wants to make sure that their money, that their investment, there's going to be a return on it. And if there's question marks like Kayvon Thibodeau is exhibiting, then that's scary. This guy was going number 1. I think Julian, you tweeted this out in terms of the top picks. Right? Like in terms of the odds, he was up there earlier in the offseason, and that guy has talent of an 18, 19 sack type season when he reaches his zenith. So I think those two guys are two that, could go a lot higher than we're expecting.
He was at 1 at one point, wasn't he? Did you?
Yeah.
Thibodeau was at 1 at
Oh,
one
he
point?
was
That was earlier in the regular season.
He was
Yeah,
heavily
yeah.
favored during the college football season to be the
Okay.
number 1 pick.
What'd you say, Ulrich? You got something
Well,
to add?
here's two players I think are interesting, just in terms of where they went. Nick picked George Pickens, who's got an over/under of 36.5 right now. He's projected as a late second-round pick. But I don't hate the pick. Like, I think George Pickens has a lot of potential to go in the late first, maybe not to Tennessee, but like the Packers are there. And I think at that draft prop, I'd much rather be under. And then again, Malik Willis, I got him at 20. His over/under prop is 13.5. It has been dropping like it was at 10.5. But Willis, I mean, there's a good chance like a Seattle will trade up for him or something. So a couple interesting, like Willis really dropped obviously compared to his draft over/under. And then Pickens, again, like I don't mind the pick. I think he's a good like boomer bust prospect. But his over/under right now is 36.5, so he went way earlier than projected.
One more that we haven't talked about that didn't get enough. Derek Stingley going 12 to the Vikings. That would fill a huge need for them. That's a great pick. And that's where a lot of people kind of initially had him going because his draft prop opened 12.5 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So the Vikings being that pick, will he or won't he go there? His draft prop is down to 7.5 at minus 125 for the under. He is the favorite to be the number 3 overall pick by the Texans, potentially going ahead of Sauce Gardner, who's the best corner in this draft. We'll find out. But Derek Stingley is going to go, 3, 4, 5, 7 in this draft. If Sauce Gardner's gone, Giants could use a corner. 5 and 7 are in play, and I think the Texans are very much interested in Stingley, who's flying up the board. So even at 12, I think that's a guy we didn't
Wasn't he
talk
like
enough
14
about.
and a half is over under prop last week or something?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think it was closer to 12, 13.
It's
yeah.
12. It was up
12.
there. So he's really
Stingley was
close.
at 12 and a half for a while, then down to 10 and a half, 8 and a half, and now sits at 7 and a half.
Well, I think Stingley has the biggest question mark, right, in terms of range of outcomes, because what you're banking with Stingley is what he did 2 years ago, 2019, when he was the best cornerback in college. And so when you talk about that, and you talk about what Houston, Houston, you throw a dart at the needs board, and that's what Houston needs. It's everything, right, outside of Davis Mills. So like when you talk about Stingley, he has that prototypical type player, like type cornerback body, and puts it on tape. But again, that was 2 years ago, really what he did. Like in 2020, he was fine, but I mean, you didn't really get much last year, and that's the question mark. So if he goes 3 overall, I think that's a massive stretch. The only Trent McDuffie should go like in the first round. That's the one player that no one mentioned, and me included, because I thought he was going to be gone, so I didn't even include him in my list. He's one that should go in the first round, especially before his teammate.
No.
But Trent McDuffie is the other guy that we didn't mention.
That's a mistake. He's going to go in the first round. That's what happens when you do mock drafts, when you just throw some people out that you are interested in and you assume they're gone. And, I'll say that's probably a mistake for the group because he's going to go.
Yeah.
His draft prop's
you're
14
blaming
and a half.
producer Tom, who worked extremely hard on the show.
I did not blame Tom.
That's sad.
For anything.
Anyway, one thing.
I blame Tom.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Steve blames Tom. Last thing on Stingley.
Okay.
He's the plus 200 favorite to be the number 3 overall pick. Nobody else is higher than plus 350. And he's plus 150 to be top 5. Stingley's going top 5 in this draft. Top 7 for sure.
Speaking of 7, I'm counting up Steve Buchanan. 7 wide receivers on this board. The total here in the DK
Is
Sportsbook.
it 7? I thought I had 6.
Okay,
Did you
no,
get 7?
you're absolutely wrong, and I'm going to count them for you right now. We have 1 here, 2 here,
You missed one.
3.
My
Hold on.
pick, Jameson Williams, right there, number 10.
And then 4, 5, 6, 7. So, under or over 6.5 tomorrow night. The total 6.5 on the DK Sportsbook.
Okay, so this originally was at 5.5.
Yeah.
And then when the trade happened with Tyreek Hill with Miami, this is when it moved to 6.5. I still think the play is under 6.5. I think
Okay.
we're going to end up seeing 6 in this draft.
Oh.
So I still think that there is some a play here at under 6.5. I don't think we're going to end up having 7. I'm trying to think I'm trying to see who the one is that shouldn't
So
be in this.
we probably missed a couple of first rounders, like McDuffie being one of them.
Yeah.
And somebody
Sky
like
Moore.
I think somebody like Pickens, who's set at 36.5 for a reason, with heavy juice to the over. You get good plus money on Pickens going under 36, not only to be a first rounder, but one of the first few picks in the second round. I think his off the field issues are something that GMs haven't loved.
Okay.
So I would say he's going to be the one that slides to the second round.
I mean, Reed, it didn't sound like you were necessarily agreeing there with Steve. This is expected to be like a monster draft for wide receiver, especially first and second round. But we're talking just first here. You thought you like over 6.5?
Yeah. Sky Moore is another name that might go in the first round. I don't know if he will. He's got elite type of shiftiness, right? That's what these NFL GMs love. And I'm happy the Raiders aren't in a position to do this because they probably would. But yeah, absolutely. You talk about this wide receiver class. We've been talking about over the last 2 years that we see these contracts from these wide receivers in the NFL currently, and agents trying to get their guys their money, because we knew that this was going to be the case over the next 2 years. I mean, Chris Olave could be the number 1 wide receiver when all said and done, right, after all of this, and he went later. I mean, Drake London, I think, was a little bit of a stretch there. I don't think he's going to be the first off the board. I think it's someone like Jameson, but it's just riddled with talent right now.
Did anyone take Treylon Burks?
Yeah, I think later. I think I think he went 20th overall.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure. I mean, there's at least, I don't know, man, but I just think it's the position you're gonna see a run towards the back half of the first round. I would not want to be on the under, because you're gonna be sitting there, and if 2 guys go at like 21 and 22, someone's moving up to take Dotson or Pickens in the late first round just to make sure they don't get shut out. I really think I think you're going to see 7 in the first round just because of that fact. I think that there'll just be a run, and teams are just going to they're basically going to get FOMO over the wide receiver position.
And that's the Chiefs, right? I mentioned it. Chiefs have 2 picks, 29 and 30. They're not like they have 12 overall, I think, which is tied for the most in this year's draft. They don't need 12 rookies on this team, right? So they're going to trade up. That's my assumption, to get one of these wide receivers. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, Jules, how confident are you taking under 2.5 quarterbacks in the first round? You get plus money on that on DK Sportsbook.
Yeah, it's tough to play that prop. Are you looking at it right now? What's the juice on each side?
All right, so minus 200 for over 2.5, plus 150 for under 2.5.
That's actually come down.
Okay.
It would be over or pass for me.
All right.
Pretty confident that we'll see Willis and Pickett go. I think they're both going to go over their draft props, and I've bet them both over their draft props. But right in that range, 19-20, where they went, is where I think they'll wind up going. And then that leaves those late picks, not only for the Lions who have a need, but for another team to trade up and then get that 5th-year option on a quarterback, like the Ravens did with the Lamar Jackson years back.
Here's the thing with that. Like, I know the Lions have a need, but is it such a need that they're going to, use a first-round pick on it? What other team is going to steal Desmond Ritter in the first round?
Well, especially because the Lions also have 34, right? So, they don't have to. But what's attractive?
I would say, cause I'm just saying that because I like the under. I like under 2.5. I think there's going to be. I think it'll be Pickett and Willis, and that'll be it. Or maybe even Ritter and Willis. But I only think 2 guys are going to go.
What's attractive, I would say, though, to other teams is to get that 5th-year option if they do like somebody. So to trade up to one of those last picks for a team that would move back, whether it be for Ritter, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, whoever they like, and if they want to have him for an extra year, you trade up and move to that spot. So that's what would make me nervous.
All right, we got 2 minutes left in show. I feel like it's best maybe to wrap it up with you guys sharing one prop bet tomorrow night or just one bet overall that you're really confident. Sprinkle a little bit of goodness on. Steve.
I still think under 6.5 wide receivers is still the play in this one. I get what these guys are saying here, but at least when you look at our board here, there's a couple guys that we talked about that should be on this board that aren't, and I think that could be at the expense of a receiver. So I still think under 6.5 is the play. If you got it at 5.5, you're basically cashing already. You can, call that one a win, but I still think under 6.5 is the play.
All right, Jules, what's your favorite bet for tomorrow night, dude?
There's so much value that has shifted over, the last couple of months. For me, I guess if I'm most confident in anything left, it's going to be those quarterback overs because they're not good enough to go high in this class and nobody is moving up for them. So give me Kenny Pickett over 16.5. Give me Malik Willis over 13.5. They've moved a lot. I think they're still fine bets.
All right, Reed T. Fowler, what are you feeling for tomorrow night, man, on the DK Sportsbook?
Yeah, one of my favorite outlandish reach bets is Evan Neal going number 1 overall. I think he's plus 2,500 on the DK Sportsbook. That's probably it's going to be a tough ask, but there could be an outside chance that happens. But I'm just taking it from a standpoint. I think the Jets taking Kayvon Thibodeau. I think the Jets taking a defensive end with their first pick. That's something that is intriguing. I believe is at plus 125 on the DK Sportsbook. That's when I looked at it yesterday. Yeah. I think that's all. I think they need a lot. I think they need to protect Zach Wilson, but I also think they need to pressure the quarterback. So I like the Jets actually taking an edge first.
All right, Ulrich, less than a minute to go. What's your
so a lot
bet?
of like Julian said, a lot of odds have shifted over the last couple weeks. But one bet that really hasn't shifted much is over 4.5 cornerbacks taken in the first round. We mentioned McDuffie. We didn't even take him, but there's at least 4 guys that are definitely going in the first round. And there's a lot of teams at the back end, like good teams like Cincinnati and the Bills, who are definitely could just grab a cornerback there. And there's 6 guys with first round grades. So I like over 4.5 cornerbacks first round.
All right, good stuff, guys. That's history today. That's history. Our first mock draft in the Sweats history.
Why are you here?
I just wanted to come over and say thank you.
Don't knock our drinks.
Some of my favorite analysts. Thank you so much, Reed T. Fowler and Jeff Ulrich, and to everyone else who made it today possible, including everyone behind the scenes. Producer
Hey,
Tom.
those guys have a podcast.
Oh, yes, they do. You like that?
It's called Unreasonable Odds. We have 2 NFL draft episodes out with some very good guests. You should go back and check them out.
And do not forget to watch the slate tonight at 5 o'clock on the DraftKings Twitter,
Blow the
Twitch,
whistle.
and YouTube pages.
Why'd you bring it if you're not going to blow it?
Not too loud, just a little bit. Okay, that's a show, everybody, and we'll see everyone at 5 o'clock. Reed T. Fowler, Jeff, and myself.